Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's an example yesterday I saw of this woman who's been here. We might even play this clip. She's been here 20 years. She has 3 kids who were born here. Her kids are because of birthright citizenship, which is another subject that's coming up. And she's never bothered to even try to resolve her immigration status. Not in 20 years. She has never tried to resolve her immigration status. Not through Republican presidents, not through Democratic presidents, nothing. And so now, she's worried about being deported because they put out the sob story of this woman. Well, that's not the average person they're even looking at right now. The average person they're looking at crossed in the last 3 years are CNN is cutting jobs to embrace the digital future. No, because they're cutting jobs because, as I like to say, they suck. CNN is undergoing a significant restructuring, planning to lay off about 200 employees, which constitutes approximately 6% of its workforce. This move is part of a broader strategy under CEO Mark Thompson to pivot towards a digital-first approach, focusing on expanding digital subscriptions and reducing costs from traditional TV operations. Wait a minute. Didn't they already try the CNN subscription service, which failed miserably? Which, if you truly have compassion for trans kids, you would allow them to all go through puberty, because 90% of kids who think they're trans change their mind once they go through puberty. That puberty is the fix for most of the problems. But you guys want the medicalization of kids and sterilization of kids and medical and surgical altering of kids who can't make that decision at 12 years old or 13 years old. Diablo asks, why is it when I try to show empathy and concern, people always misconstrue it? Last time I asked someone if their mom at least got a good check from the clinic that botched the abortion. Oh! Oh, God.
Damn it, AD.
I think you just need to find a gentle way.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
I would be willing to bet everything I own that submitting a 22-minute video montage that shows the most egregious acts of violence you can find from that day, when the defendant in question is on that video for only 6 seconds and the scene walking calmly, is highly prejudicial and a violation of the defendant's due process rights. The person was found guilty and sentenced to 19 months in prison. Now, it took 2 hours to read through all of the documents that were in the case file. Every motion submitted by the defendant was denied. Every motion by the defendant was denied. How often does that happen? And every motion submitted by the government was granted. They turned a trespass misdemeanor that would have resulted in a $50 ticket into 5 misdemeanors and a felony charge by charging the defendant with a statute that would have required the Secret Service to rope off the section he was in, which they did not. They also charged him with a statute that would have been required them to prove Mike Pence was in the building at the time he walked through that corridor. He was not. And they used an Enron statute that the Supreme Court struck down. If you accept a pardon, you are admitting guilt. Period. That's the, because you can't be pardoned if you're not guilty.
Whether he can preemptive whether he can issue President's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr.
Oh,
that
you
would
can't?
Be a gross abuse
of
the presidential
it's
pardon
a
authority.
gross abuse of presidential pardon authority. Well, there you go. You accepted a pardon, Adam Kinzinger. You think you may have committed a crime. Oh, here, J.B. Raskin. Dirty Q-tip. Dirty Q-tip, J.B. Raskin. What else? What did he have to say?
Well, the seeking of pardons is
Yes, it's only on
powerful
one side.
demonstration of the consciousness of guilt. Or at least the consciousness that you may be in trouble.
J.B.
And that's
Raskin.
what's so shocking
Did he
about
get a
this.
pardon also? Wasn't he on that committee?
The seeking of pardons is...
He was on that committee. I'm curious if you're going to condemn that part. You're going to condemn that pardon.
You know, Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people. Yeah, he should answer for that and explain.
Lots of murderers, lots of drug dealers, lots of people who killed people. Commuted the sentence of a couple murderers. One who, in fact, one drug dealer who people died from taking the drugs that they sold them.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
The Obama-Aniston rumors have gone wild. Rumors have emerged on social media that suggest Barack and Michelle Obama might be heading towards divorce, with speculators linking Barack Obama to actress Jennifer Aniston. Those rumors have gained traction following Michelle Obama's absence from Jimmy Carter's funeral and the inauguration, and are based on tabloid stories and social media speculation without solid confirmation from the individuals involved. So far, there's still rumors, and I don't know why people are perpetuating them, but it is kind of fun to perpetuate rumors like that. No one's come out to, out and out deny anything. That's the weird part.
We should just take a deep breath and acknowledge the audacity.
The audacity!
Of a president who's so clearly concerned about his own criminal culpability.
Oh my God, his own criminal culpability and his son's business dealings. I know that they're talking about Joe Biden, aren't they?
And that of his family members.
Like the boy asked, are cats really soul suckers? Yes. Yes. That's why I'm not into cats. Dogs, man. I'm a dog guy. Avocado Diablo, is there an aisle in the grocery store that is less objectionable to have sex in? Where do you come up with this shit? Dude.
Has done something no person in the world has ever done before. A dead man, a dead politician has risen.
Yes.
Somebody who 4 years ago at Davos, he's buried, a dead.
And I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding Donald Trump's demise that has failed. I wonder how many people at Davos, again, let me say it again. I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding what they had hoped would be Trump's demise. I bet you there's a few of them there. And it didn't work, did it now? Didn't work now, did it?
Politically known to me. He's now returned. This is the greatest comeback in political history of a politician. And then, therefore, he thinks he can do anything.
At the end of the show, every day on my show, if I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I look at that and I'm like, oh God, I have to look at her. I want you to imagine, by the way, as I sit here and start the intro of the show, I want you to imagine if everything that I say this morning, or at least while I have her on the screen, imagine everything that I say while I have Mrs. Clinton on the screen being said in her voice. I couldn't do it. Imagine. Can you imagine? Anyway, welcome to Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. On this 24th of, what's the date? July 2025. It's Thursday, almost the weekend, Friday Eve, whatever you want to call it. And I'm happy that you're here. In fact, it looks like a lot of you got notifications a lot quicker this day because there's already a few handful of people here, lots of different names. I like to see it. So let's get into it. I'm going to say hi to everybody and get the going because I got a ton of tabs open. Man, it's like it's going to be kind of a, what do you call that? It's going to be kind of a lightning round day because it's also FTG Thursday, which we can go ahead and here. In fact, let's just go ahead and take care of this right now. FTG Hillary Clinton. Did I do that right? Did I? Yeah, I did. Okay. So anyway, and if you don't know what FTG is, ask your friends, ask your neighbor. So today, what happened here? Oh, I see. Okay, so first in the chat today, of course, Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. In fact, I'm going to give you two bells because I stepped all over the first bell. There you go. And one of those bells, too. Thank you for joining us. Also, good morning, Resolute Germ, Mike Savage, Blarg, Midnight, what's up? Nice to have you here. Darren Root, Somnambule Nation, J&J McMahon Woodworking. Well, that's a new name. I mean, well, not new. I think you've been here before. I just didn't. I'm glad you're here. Is that someone's alternate thing? Is that like someone's business? I'm not sure. Also, Lord Stanhope on the special. What is it? What is it? On the honorable mention list of favorite Canadians, Special Can Acids here. Good morning. Green Badger Outdoors, Hoko Sports. What's up? I said Darren Root already. Blue Eyed Scream and that's my mom. Oh, okay. So that's so Midnight is shoot, Ms. Wildwolf's daughter, and Miss Wildwolf is J&J McMahon Woodworking, which I'm not sure why. I didn't know that was your alternate. So there. So good morning, Miss Wildwolf, aka J&J McMahon Woodworking. So there you go. So 60 people, 7 likes. Go ahead and fix that now. Yes. Oh, by the way, I think yesterday only one person in the entire show didn't hit the like button. I was like, damn, that's pretty good. Either that or some people came and did it later. I'm not sure. So anyway, all right. Let's do this thing. We got to get okay. There's that. I did notifications. Thanks for people who sent out the show notification wise, and in fact that includes Ms. Wild Wolf and here. Let's do this. I already posted some of these. Thank you, Somnambule Nation. Always first on that front. So I'll give you a bell for that too. You're the first one to do that. And then so the wrestling reference, Resolute Germ. I am confused. I have no idea who this young lady is, but she seems to be a fine individual. Also, thank you, Somnambule Nation, for this one. Why are we doing? Is that the Angel of Death? What the hell? You're making me nervous. Thank you, Sound Noble Nation. I've been given a 2-hour reprieve. Let's go. I'm not sure what that means. And then also Ms. Wild Wolf tweeting out the show. Fantastic. Mike Savage with the Let Us Go. Oh, I should probably, did I repost these? I didn't repost these yet because they just showed up. Mike Savage, blog, with the Let Us Go of daily. And people retweeting the show that I posted, Ms. Wild Wolf, Somnable Nation, and Resolute Germ. And then more people trying to do stuff. That's cool. Thank you so much for doing that. I even though we're not, you know, the consistency is greatly appreciated from y'all. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Keep it simple. All right. Let's quickly go through today's holidays because they're not that important. It's National Cousins Day. That's weird. They'll be having, oh my God. I was going to say something about they'll be having partying in Alabama and Kentucky. But anyway, National Cousins Day. Show your cousins some love on National Cousins Day. International Self-Care Day. That's for all the people who need to hug themselves. National Tequila Day. Now that's something I can cheer. National Tequila Day. Oh my goodness. I might have to go have a margarita tonight. Also National Refreshment Day, which is interesting. Never heard of that. National Drive-Thru Day. Go get a burger at your favorite drive-thru burger place. National Amelia Earhart Day. Is it her birthday or something? I don't understand that one. Pioneer Day, National Day of Motoring, and Samaritan's Awareness Day. Be appreciative of all those good Samaritans out there. So there you go. That's the holiday calendar. Enough of that shit. Also, it's Jennifer Lopez's birthday. Oh my goodness. Now, apparently Megyn Kelly ripped on Jennifer Lopez for this performance here. Apparently she thought it was a little extra risque. Let's see. This is Megyn Kelly. Let me see what Megyn Kelly does.
J-Lo's out on tour in the middle of nowhere. I don't know where no one's listening to J-Lo. Her tours have been a mess. Her songs are unpopular.
Oh my
Here's
goodness.
a man with his face
Oh
in
my
her crotch.
goodness.
For the listening audience, we see Heine with a thong, and a man looks like he's giving her oral sex, like his face is in her crotch. Now she bends over.
I'm sorry. I was just thinking of the possibilities. Anyway, yeah, Megan's not happy about this.
And then for the next several minutes, she simulates actual sex acts. Like, you know, there, she's doing actual sex acts, though she's clothed with a bunch of men wearing just pants and corsets, I guess. I don't know what they're wearing. Yeah, like doggy style.
Why is Jennifer, by the way, she's 56 years old today. Yeah, I mean, it's a performance and whatever, you know, Megan. I mean, I get it. I guess maybe she's mad because, you know, Jennifer's 56 and doing this stuff. But you know what? That's just unfortunately, what the entertainment industry has turned into. By the way, good morning. Who just showed up? Oh, Ms. Wild Wolf with the other handle. Also, Donkey Punch Bandit, the greatest name on the internet. Aaron Meredith, what's up? Yeah,
missionary, her sitting up on them and writhing and grinding. She's 55 years old.
Oh, she's 56 today.
He hasn't come to grips with the fact that she's not a sex symbol anymore. I'm sorry.
Well, look, let's just put it this way. Jennifer Lopez is best known for two things. And unfortunately, those things are behind her. I'll be here all day, people. I'll be here all day. Yeah, it was a reenactment of a freak off. Yeah, wasn't she? Didn't she make it to some of those Diddy parties, or didn't she date Diddy for a while? I could have sworn she did. Yeah, the reenacting the freak off. Anyway, happy birthday, Jennifer Lopez, 56 years old today. I didn't realize she was that close to my age. Maybe I did, because when she was on Living Color and I was still a single male, I noticed her. I just did. Anyway, moving on. Russian plane. There's a plane that has disappeared in Russia, probably crashed. A passenger plane carrying 48 people. Wait. Okay, that's a terrible sentence. The passenger plane carrying 48 people are reportedly dead. The cause of the crash is still unknown. Well, I'm pretty sure that it's because of the American air traffic control system that got ruined by Donald Trump. You know how that works. Anyway, Russian plane crash, Angara airline flight with about 50 on board crashes in Russia. Missing Russian plane found, crashed in Amur region. Rescuers spot burning fuselage. No survivors, say local reports. So that's sad. I mean, it's funny how plane crashes always make the news, even though they're extremely rare. Excuse me. Oh, what was that? They're extremely rare when you think about it, compared to how many flights there are every day. It's shocking that it's not worse than that. So anyway, that's sad news. South Park is trending. South Park's trending on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, because they had they made fun of Donald Trump, which let's see. I'll just have the clip linked because I don't think I can play South Park on the show. It's one of those that kind of automatically gets you a little hate from the monetization gods. So we'll just put it off into a link. But I haven't watched it yet. But it's South Park. They're funny. They're funny. They're funny no matter whom they make fun of. I don't care. Make fun. If you want to make fun of the president, it's fair game. Good morning to my favorite Canadian, Jaeger Pony, by the way. So I'll have a link to that, but I'm not going to show it here. Moving on. Vine is trending. Do y'all remember Vine? Do it for the Vine, little 7-second video platform, whatever. People would make these really succinct little Vine videos. Well, apparently Elon Musk is thinking about bringing Vine back. I don't know why. I have no idea why. But what did he put here? Where is it? Elon Musk just confirmed Vine is coming back. The internet's OG short video app revived, but in AI form, which makes me confused. It said we're bringing back Vine in AI form. I thought it got played out, and there's too many. There's too many short form video platforms. But what the hell, if he wants to try it with an AI format, which I don't know what that means either. Now people will be doing it for the Vine again. So there you go. If you're one of those Viners, good for you. In other news, I don't know if you remember this guy. His name is Bryan Kohberger. He's the guy who murdered the former University of Idaho students in 2022. Well, he has been sentenced to 4 life sentences. So the succinct version of this, he was sentenced to 4 life sentences without parole after pleading guilty to the 2022 murders of 4 University of Idaho students. Bryan Kohberger, the family of the victims, Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Goncalves. Okay, those are the people who are anyway, here's what happened. Bryan Kohberger pleaded guilty to the murders of those 4 kids. As part of a plea deal that spared him the death penalty, he was sentenced to 4 life sentences without parole and an additional 10 years for a burglary charge. The sentencing hearing held in Boise, Idaho, included emotional victim impact statements from the families of the deceased. The murders occurred in the early hours of November 13, 2022 at a residence in Moscow, Idaho. Kohberger was arrested 6 weeks later at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. Prosecutors revealed that DNA evidence, surveillance footage, online purchase history, and cell phone data connected him to the crime. During the hearing, Kohberger declined to make any statement, prompting murmurs from the families. So, Judge Stephen Hippler, before issuing the sentence, described Kohberger as a faceless coward and expressed admiration for the victim's family. He emphasized that no rational explanation could justify the crime, stating the time has now come to end Mr. Kohberger's 15 minutes of fame. Kohberger showed no visible reaction as the sentence was delivered. So, there you go. There you go. FTG, Bryan Kohberger. How do you spell that? Kohberger. There. Fuck that guy. All right. Next. What else we got? Now I just have a few hit and miss stories. The Pope's here. Tyrannus. The Pope Tyrannus III, the Blessed Lich. Welcome. I don't see the message. It's probably up here somewhere. Oh, best blessing of the divine dead be upon you all to see his love for us. Just look around at his creation. Okay, there you go, Tyre. How you doing? I don't know what that means. So, So a few handful of stories that I have before I get to the main story with her. So there was a story recently. Well, here, media-driven story about ICE secretly deporting a Pennsylvania man to Guatemala is a hoax. A media outlet in Pennsylvania ran a story about an elderly Pennsylvania man being secretly deported to Guatemala by ICE. It got picked up and pushed by other media outlets, which are more interested in confirming their anti-ICE bias than confirming a story. The whole thing was a hoax. So, the original viral story, 82-year-old grandfather from Chile kidnapped by ICE while trying to renew his green card and illegally deported to Guatemala. ICE then told his family he was dead, but they found him in the hospital in Guatemala. In reality, ICE had no record of detaining. That's according to someone here. So, from the post-millennial, DHS refutes media hoax that Trump administration deported Allentown grandpa. They were calling him an Allentown grandpa. The Department of Homeland Security has released a statement refuting that immigration authorities ever deported an, quote, Allentown grandfather, end quote, or that he died in ICE custody, a claim that had spread on the media. The press release from DHS stated on the case that the, quote, grandfather, end quote, Luis Leon, 82, the Department of Homeland Security set the record straight on misleading and false reports that the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, aka ICE, secretly deported a so-called Allentown grandfather to Guatemala. Additionally, reporting claimed he died in ICE custody. CHS cited a report from the Morning Call, which was titled, quote, Allentown grandfather family was told he died in ICE custody. Then they learned he's alive in a hospital in Guatemala. The report cited comments from family members who claimed that Leon was thought to be dead by the family and disappeared without a trace to the American immigration system about a month ago. The family claimed the 82-year-old had been handcuffed and taken away by ICE. DHS said in the release that the claim was completely false. So apparently, and there's several. They showed several tweets of them claiming this. Well, apparently now this is the latest press release. Today, the Department of Homeland Security set the record straight on misleading and false reporting that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement secretly deported so-called Allentown grandfather to Guatemala. Additionally, reporting claimed he died in ICE custody. The Morning Call, an Allentown, Pennsylvania newspaper, published the following headline on July 20th, 2025, without any facts from DHS about major allegations made against law enforcement. The family of the individual allegedly told reporters he was handcuffed and taken by federal officers at a green card appointment in Philadelphia. The claim is false. There is no record of the man appearing at any green card appointment in or around the area of Philadelphia on June 20th, 2025. Furthermore, ICE has not deported Luis Leon, a Chilean national, to Guatemala. Guatemala. That sounds something the Southern would say. Anyway, sorry, Southerners, I didn't mean to say that. As his family members, ICE's only record of this individual entering the United States is in 2015 from Chile under a visa waiver program. And also, like just a couple of days ago, Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, pushed a similar story about an ICE that turned out to be a hoax also. So I'll put a link to that article too. But yeah, it's all bullshit. Bullshit. There you go. Next up, there's the Karen Bass story. This is about the supposed kidnapping of this woman, but it didn't happen. Let's see. Oh, it's a couple failures by the Biden administration we can talk about. Biden administration's $7.5 billion with a B dollar EV, electric vehicle initiative, built fewer than 400 charging ports in 3 years. Remember when they it was a while back, and we were talking about how, they had $7.5 billion set aside in this infrastructure bill for electric charging stations, right? And at the time when we were talking about it, they'd only built 3. Well, apparently for $7.5 billion, they have less than 400 up and running. $7.5 billion with a B. Now, I don't know if that's good or bad, but for $7.5 billion, Siri, what is 7.5 billion divided by 400? So at 1.8 $18 million a piece. Now, granted, I don't think it costs $18 million to put in an electric charging station. It might cost maybe 10, 12,000, I would guess. And I'm sure you get some incentives from like Tesla if there were Tesla charging stations. But anyway, the Biden administration's $7.5 billion program to install electric vehicle charging stations across the United States has delivered fewer than 400 charging ports since November 2021, according to a Tuesday report by the Government Accountability Office. The EV charging initiative, part of former President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law, has built just 384 charging ports at 68 stations in 16 states. So only 68 locations. A total of 384 charging ports. Fan-fucking-tastic. Anyway, I don't even need to read the rest. That sucks. My new favorite word, FTG, Slow-Mo Joe. There we go. FTG Slow-Mo Joe. Moving on. Let's see. By the way, the United States Postal Service also, remember, they're going to electrify their fleet. Remember that? And I'm not sure. Let's see here. U.S. Postal Service charge to electrify delivery fleet fails as predicted. Remember, they're going to get all these electric vehicles for the Postal Service. The Biden administration push to electrify the U.S. Postal Service's delivery fleet has collapsed into a nearly $10 billion, with a B, quagmire, a textbook case of central planning's inevitable failure, with $3 billion from the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act and a goal to deploy 35,000 electric mail trucks by September 2028. The Postal Service has managed to produce just 250 vehicles. They were going to have 35,000 of them. They've got 250, each a costly leaking airbag-plagued embarrassment. Let's see. As the New York Post observes, the numbers tell a grim, wholly predictable story. The Postal Service is already drowning in red ink with a $9.5 billion loss in 2024, leveraged Joe Biden's Pork-Fuel Inflation Reduction Act in 2022 to replace its aging Grumman long-life vehicles with electric next-generation delivery vehicles. Oshkosh Corporation, based in Wisconsin, won a $2.6 billion contract to build these trucks with 45,000 slated to be electric, yet by late 2024, only 93 vehicles had been delivered, far below the promised 3,000. Today, production limps along at one truck per day against Oshkosh's projected 80. Each truck's cost $77,692. I don't think that's probably all that expensive for... Is that expensive for a postal vehicle? It depends how much maintenance they take, I guess. But still, $77,000 a piece. I bet they could get those other little, Willie's Jeeps ones for a lot cheaper than that. Anyway, yeah. How much $10 billion so far, and they got 200 some vehicles. So that's not good. Moving on. Again, it's lightning around. Oh, I know. Hey, how about Oshkosh Bagosh? Exactly. FTG USPS and Joe Biden. There we go. The state of New York. Oh Lord. State of New York done F around and found out they have to pay out a $225,000 payout after trying to force a Christian photographer to shoot gay weddings. Now, if someone came, if I was going to have, let's say my daughter's wedding. I mean, she's married already, but they got to have their wedding, right? And if I had wanted to go hire a photographer for that wedding, and the photographer looked at me and said, "Nigga, what?" No, we ain't doing that, right? I wouldn't want that photographer to go anywhere near my wedding, even if I'm mad that they didn't do it because of stupid ass reasons. After a 4-year legal battle, the state of New York has agreed to pay a Christian wedding photographer, Emily Carpenter, $225,000 in legal fees and stop enforcing laws that violate her First Amendment rights. The settlement allows Carpenter to decline photographing homosexual weddings without fear of state penalties. Now, look, I think it's stupid if I'm a photographer and I refuse to take photos at a same-sex marriage, I think that's stupid too. I mean, get paid, but whatever. And besides, same-sex marriages, they have so much extra money because, they just usually don't have kids and whatever. But anyway, that's not even the point. But if she does not want to, if she says, you know what, that's just not what I do, then I would say, okay, there's 8 million photographers in the world. I'm just sorry. It's just, but anyway, so they were going to force her. The agreement detailed in a consent decree between New York Attorney General Letitia James and Carpenter's legal team at the Alliance Defending Freedom follows a ruling in May by U.S. District Judge Frank Garassi, a Barack Obama appointee, who stated it was beyond debate that New York cannot use public accommodation laws to compel speech. Right. That makes sense. New Yorkers now can enjoy the freedom to create and express themselves, a freedom that protects all Americans regardless of their views, blah, 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 blah. So, look, here's something else. What do you mean? No shoes, no shirts, no service. Yeah, I don't. Wait, I get what a photographer is, but what is an Emily Carpenter? Emily Carpenter is the name of the photographer. Wedding photographer Emily Carpenter. That's her name. She's not a carpenter, though. Well, I don't know if she's related to the Carpenters. Anyway, so that ruling, New York's going to pay her legal fees, and then basically she said, "Fuck off! I don't want to do this." And that's I again, personally, I think it's stupid. But if that's what she wants to do, she didn't have to give a reason why she can't want to do this wedding. Why does she have to even give a reason? But anyway. Also, apparently Louisville, Kentucky is abandoning its sanctuary city policy. Oh, by the way, FTG, Letitia James, and New York. Start spreading the news. There you go. The city of Louisville, Kentucky has announced on Tuesday that it would take steps to remove its sanctuary city status. That's great. A designation imposed by the Trump administration earlier this year. Louisville Metro Department of Corrections will now honor immigration detainers filed by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, aka ICE, which the federal law enforcement agency uses to ensure it can gain custody over illegal aliens arrested by local authorities. Democratic Mayor Craig Greenberg said the Trump administration informed him that the city was in violation of federal law by refusing to comply with the detainer request. In a letter, the Justice Department warned other jurisdictions in violation had been hit with legal action and freezes on federal funding. Greenberg commented on the decision to revive a policy to hold illegals for up to additional 48 hours, explaining that doing so would remove the sanctuary city designation. So there you go. Good deal. Good deal. I think that's a stupid policy for a city anyway. Let's see. But his excuse, he added that the city caved to the Trump administration because the stakes are too high, referencing the recent deployment of military forces to Los Angeles last month that were triggered by protests over ICE raids. Okay, now look. ICE does not mean internal combustion engine in this case. Thank you, Avocados Diabli. I appreciate you setting me straight.
Your life makes me sad.
I don't know why I did that. But he's saying, we don't want National Guards occupying the streets of Louisville. That's not what they're talking about here, asshole. That wasn't even, they weren't even there. The National Guard was in Los Angeles not because of the immigration enforcement, but because of the riots that they could or refused to quell, where people were getting, people damaging property and shit. So anyway, Louisville, no longer a sanctuary city. Actually, very good news. Let's get into the main topic, which is her, by the way, here. I had to hear it earlier, so you have to too.
Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask?
Are you okay?
Now, having said all this...
Oh, my God. I have this steak knife that I used to cut my beef that I had for breakfast with my eggs, and I was just about to stick it through my ear. Okay, sorry. Oh, now you got you're going to dislike now. Okay, gotcha. Anyway... obviously there's a big buzz about Hillary and Obama and everyone in the Obama administration because of this report that Gabbard released, Tulsi Gabbard released. And look, I could see why some people on the left see this as a distraction from the Epstein stuff or whatever, or they're claiming that it's just that. I couldn't figure out why some of these people weren't prosecuted years ago. And I think Donald Trump made a statement the other day that he just said, you know what? After the election, just didn't want to make that a big thing. But now these fuckfaces are, well, he didn't say the fuckfaces, but, you know, he's just letting the go with the flow. So anyway, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard declassified a House Intelligence Committee report from September 2020, which she says reveals how the Obama administration manufactured an intelligence assessment promoting the Russian collusion hoax. Gabbard took to X to publish the 46-page report on Wednesday morning, noting new evidence has emerged of the most egregious weaponization and politicization of intelligence in American history. We obviously went through this yesterday. Hello, Lord Stanhope. So then in the link, I'll have a link to that X post too. But she then added, per President Donald Trump's directive, I've declassified a House Intelligence Oversight Majority Staff report that exposes how the Obama administration manufactured the January 2017 intelligence community assessment that they knew was false, promoting the lie that Vladimir Putin and the Russian government helped President Trump win the 2016 election. In doing so, they conspired to subvert the will of the American people, working with their partners in the media to promote the lie in order to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump, essentially enacting a year-long coup against him. Then she posted 5 key findings in the report in a subsequent tweet, including that Obama and former CIA Director John Brennan and others allegedly fabricated the Russian hoax, suppressed intelligence showing Putin was preparing for a Clinton victory, manufactured findings from shoddy sources, disobeyed IC standards. I can't remember this. And knowingly lied to the American people. So obviously this is big news, and she's apparently given referrals to the Justice Department for investigation of Obama, Brennan, Clapper, Hillary Clinton, which she's trending right now, and a few others, and Comey even. So here it is. And then this is the tweet thread that she put out is here separately if you want to look at that. Oh, by the way, Adam Schiff used his position on the Intelligence Committee to propagate the Russian hoax and went on television endlessly lying to the American people about it. Is this how many clips of him lying about it? Here's Adam Schiff list.
All you have right now is a circumstantial case.
Actually, no, Chuck. I can tell you that the case is more than that, and I can't go into the particulars, but there is more than circumstantial evidence.
Oh, yeah, remember, he had direct evidence. He never presented it since 2016. He has never presented it, but he still has that direct evidence somewhere. By the way, good morning. Willie is in the chat. And now at studios, my dear friend from high school, Woo, who says, good morning, P-Dawg. The best part of the full report from Tulsi is that when these crimes occurred, Tulsi was a Democrat. Welcome home, Director Gabbard. Your passion for truth is welcome with us. Abso-friggin-lutely. So there you go. Putin's puppet, cozying up to dictators. It was all just lies. So anyway, a lot of news about that. Is this... Okay, here we go. And this is the article that I wanted to bring up because this is funny. And whenever you can call Hillary Clinton batshit crazy, you're probably pretty accurate. Anyway, everyone in the neighborhood knew Hillary was batshit crazy. Now the intel confirms it. This is from PJ Media. Not too long of an article. It's a little bit long, but I don't care. This is the one I want. This is the main story today, so I'm fucking going through it. Every neighborhood has one. The unpredictable one who calls the cops if you park too close to their mailbox, yells at the garbage man for looking at her too long, and glares at the local Girl Scouts as if they're conducting a home invasion instead of selling cookies. You don't make eye contact. You certainly don't walk your dog past her house. And when she starts screaming into the sky at 3 a.m. about how she knows what's really happened to JFK Jr., everyone rolls over in bed, sighs, and says, well, that's just her being her. For the Clinton White House, that neighbor was Hillary Clinton. And for years, the rest of us who dared to say so were labeled conspiracy theorists or misogynists or right-wing loons. Funny thing, though, this week, the intelligence community handed us a dusty file and said, hey, remember that lady with the vase and the tranquilizers? Yeah. Turns out you were right. We weren't supposed to know, but we did. In his 2016 book, Crisis of Character, retired Secret Service officer Gary Byrne shared inside details of the Clinton White House. His book read like the New York Post's page 6. Byrne didn't consider Hillary a calculating stateswoman. Instead, she was a seething cauldron acting like a pressure cooker that blew explosive steam. Bill had the blue dress. Hillary had the launch of the vase. She exploded at staff, swore at Bill like a drunken sailor, and once launched a vase across the room in a fit of fury. Her target, Slick Willie, ducked out of the way while the vase shattered against the wall. The rest of the staff decided it was a great time to go check their offices for messages. They cleared the room and let her cool off. The media reaction? Vapors overcame them as they gasped, unverified, uncorroborated. Byrne is a bitter ex-employee. The bastion of calm, cool reportage, this is CNN, spoke to experts who declared without proof that Byrne had to be lying because they saw Hillary as charming and calm. You know, nice the way that batshit neighbor lady throws rocks at kids and says she's misunderstood. Byrne's account wasn't a lone description. Many former agents and staffers confirmed her poor behavior, but of course, only off the record. Oh, sources say? They knew that if they were outed telling the truth, they might end up Clintonicized. Oh, wait, that's not what it says. They might end up on the Clintons' enemies list, living the rest of their lives looking over their shoulder. Oh, that's what I said, yeah. However, they know everybody in the political sphere knew. The rest of us, however, just weren't allowed to say it. Now, this is the point where all those yells of Trump's Putin is a Putin puppet die an agonizing death. Today, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, declassified a report that can only be described as stunning, except for us who probably had figured out a long time ago. During the 2016 election season, Russian intelligence had detailed reports of serious health issues surrounding Hillary Clinton. Emphasis in the original post. Oh my goodness. Let me read this. As of September 2016, the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service had Democratic National Committee information that President Obama and party leaders found the state of Secretary Clinton's health to be extraordinarily alarming and felt it could have serious negative impact on her election prospects. Her health information was being kept in the strictest secrecy, and even close advisors were not being fully informed. The SVR possessed DNC communications that Clinton was suffering from intensified psycho-emotional problems. Oh, shocker! Including uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness. Anyone recall seeing that from Hillary Clinton? I do. Clinton was placed on a fully daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers, and while afraid of losing, she remained obsessed with a desire for revenge. The SVR also had information that Clinton suffered from type 2 diabetes, congestive heart disease, deep vein thrombosis, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. I don't know how they knew that, but hey. So the reports weren't the flu or allergies, but a full-on heart disease, diabetes, deep vein thrombosis, COPD, and psychological instability treated with heavy medication. Their internal documents reference intensified psycho-emotional moments for which she was administered tranquilizers daily. Putin had a gold mine of data, yet didn't say anything. He sat on it, keeping quiet the way you'd watch that crazy batshit lady mow the lawn wearing her bathrobe and wearing pink fuzzy slippers. He didn't disclose it. I thought he wanted Trump to win. For Matt Margolis, the documents show Obama and his top officials, in coordination with Hillary's presidential campaign, worked with their media allies to weaponize the intelligence community and stage an effort to delegitimize, can't even talk, Trump before he took office. But actually, it's even worse. The House Intelligence Committee report reveals that while the Obama administration was manipulating intelligence and pushing a narrative that Putin wanted Donald Trump to win the election, there was strong intelligence suggesting the opposite. Putin preferred Hillary Clinton. This in itself is hardly surprising, but there's more. The real meat of the story is why Putin wanted Hillary to win. The reason, according to Obama's own intelligence, is that Moscow possessed damaging information on her and saw her as easier to manipulate. One of the most damning findings is that Obama-driven ICA ignored strong indicators supporting the alternative hypothesis that, at a minimum, Putin didn't care who won and even had reason to prefer Hillary. Wow! Real quick, thank you. Avocados Diablo sponsors the show with a small bullet in the tip jar, aka 223, and you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Who's saying, are they saying running for office was literally killing Hillary? Damn. She should have run again in 2020, 2024. Oh my. Stop it. Oh, man. Where's that one? Where is it? There.
I see dead people.
Anyway, thanks, Avocado Sably. So anyway, according to that column, Putin believed Hillary would defeat Trump, so they didn't do anything to derail her. Let's try putting this into perspective. Putin is a man not known for his moral compass or discretion. He thought Hillary was so dangerous and so unstable that he remained quiet and let her carry on. By keeping the most damaging material on Clinton in reserve, Putin was not only demonstrating a clear lack of concern for Trump's election fate, but conversely, his actions could also indicate that he preferred to see Secretary Clinton elected, knowing that she would be a more vulnerable president than candidate. Trump, Moscow's reserve of compromising materials, would have given Putin leverage over a Clinton administration, but not a Trump one. Yeah, there's stories a long time ago that Russia actually wanted Hillary to win. There's more in the story. You can read the rest later, but still. Hello, Kirill Lazarov. Lazarov. Clinton was involved in a uranium deal with Russia. This is why they have something on her. Oh, yeah, that's true, too. And welcome to the show. I don't know if you're new, but I hope you're enjoying the show. So, yeah, there's a little more in that article, but I also wanted to get to this one. Because apparently, yesterday Obama was doing damage control, and I usually don't talk about this kind of stuff, but, this is categorically false. And I just think that maybe we should just not pay attention to it. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard's release of more than 100 newly declassified documents concerning the fabrication of the Trump-Russia collusion narrative during the 2016 presidential transition cast a renewed and significant spotlight on former President Barack Obama. His role in the matter. Investigative journalist Matt Taibbi described it. The documents put Obama squarely in the Russiagate crosshairs. So, yeah, they basically, they said he had a hand in it. And, his hand was one of the guiding hands. I'm not even going to go through this whole thing. But what they did in 2016 and 2020 was very criminal, and it's criminal at the highest level. They have this is Oh, that's Donald Trump. Here's what Donald Trump has to say about it.
No, Barack Hussein Obama is the ringleader. Hillary Clinton was right there with him, and so was Sleepy Joe Biden, and so were the rest of them. Comey, Clapper, the whole group. And they tried to rig an election, and they got caught. And then they did rig the election in 2020. And then because I knew I won that election by a lot, I did it a third time, and I won in a landslide. Every swing state won the popular vote. But I won that all the same way in 2020. And look at the damage that was caused.
ICA does not stand for internal combustion asshole. Well, that's good, because we don't need any internal combusting assholes. Thank you, Avocados Diablo, for your contribution and diligence. Okay, there you go. So the President Obama, we showed the response yesterday out of respect for the office. This is bullshit, basically what he's trying to say. Well, on Wednesday, Gabbard's office released a September 2020 House Intelligence Committee report, which found that the Obama-era intelligence community lacked direct evidence that Putin was on Trump's side, yet the implausible claim was still included in the January 2017 Intelligence Community Assessment. That's what the ICA is, Intelligence Community Assessment. At the unusual direction of Barack Obama. I mean, he's the one who wanted it in there. So there you go. At his direction. So the point is, Obama was the guiding light. Hillary Clinton paid for it. The DNC paid for it. They knew it was all bullshit. Bottom line. This article will be in the links. And also, the documents revealed the Washington Post's central role in Russiagate, because the Washington Post was publishing everything that the White House told him to. Hello, Cashapp. What up, Kirsten? Nice to have you here. And again, a lot of these articles all sound the same in the beginning, but the gist here is the Washington Post was a part of the plot in some ways. In truth, the D&I report understates just how dishonest the episode really was. While the report cites two separate leaks to the Post, suggesting two different articles, they were in fact the same story, heavily rewritten after publication. The original version, which merely claimed that Russia had attempted to interfere, was already a serious departure from the previous day's draft PDB, Presidential Daily Brief. But that version apparently wasn't strong enough for the deep state officials feeling feeding Nakashima the story. Within hours, that version mysteriously vanished. In its place appeared a completely rewritten piece, one that boldly claimed to know the outcome of an assessment that had only just been ordered. Gone were the hedge references to attempted interference. The reroute knife now flatly declared that Russia intervened in the 2016 election to help Donald Trump win the presidency. So, and the Washington Post ran with it. This was a wholesale transformation of a tentative report into a weaponized political narrative that Trump owed his presidency to Russian President Vladimir Putin. So, there's a lot more detail on how they manipulated the media and whatnot. But again, I don't want to get caught in the weeds here because I got several other stories to go. Now let's, by the way, the media seems to be panicking over this. And as a Daily Caller article, let's go through this in a little deeper. Legacy media's biggest players, NBC, the New York Times, and others, appear to be in full damage control over the Russiagate revelations Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard unveiled on Friday. NBC accused Gabbard of trying to rewrite the history of the 2016 election in a Tuesday headline. The lead of the NBC story accuses Gabbard and President Donald Trump of seeking to reverse an 8-year-old assessment that Russia waged an information war to boost Trump's candidacy. You know, it's funny because they've never even attempted to quantify it, but the implication is that Donald Trump wouldn't have won without the Russians. And that's laughable. That's completely laughable. Anyway, the story touts conclusions made by an infamous 2017 Intelligence Community Assessment and the 2020 Senate investigation, which found that Russian President Vladimir Putin attempted to influence the 2016 U.S. election and damage Hillary Clinton's candidacy. Those emails, Gabbard claimed in a Friday tweet, show that Obama's own intelligence chief found that Russia did not impact recent U.S. election results by conducting cyber attacks on infrastructure. However, despite accusing Gabbard of attempting to rewrite history, NBC does not cite the Obama administration intelligence agency email she declassified until deep into the story, because nobody reads that far. So as long as they bury it 20 paragraphs down, there not enough people are going to see it anyway. The outlet cites talking points prepared for the Obama administration's Director of National Security or Intelligence, James Clapper, which was released by Gabbard Friday. Now, NBC also made no mention of a memo sent from Department of Homeland Security official to Obama's DNI, James Clapper, which read, quote, "The thrust of the analysis is that there is no indication of a Russian threat to directly manipulate the actual vote count through cyber means, according to the documents Gabbard declassified." Similarly, the Washington Post fact checker Glenn Kessler, that's funny, they still call him a fact checker, claimed Gabbard's accusations were based on thin gruel. In his fact check, Kessler raised doubts about the claims that the infamous, now discredited Steele dossier influenced the 2017 ICA, Intelligence Something Assessment. Calling it a factor in the IC is a stretch, Kessler wrote. Then Central Intelligence Agency Director John Brennan was so insistent on including the dossier in the ICA that he apparently defied warnings from numerous agency officials who asserted that its inclusion would compromise the assessment's integrity, according to a 2025 CIA review of the ICA commissioned by CIA Director John Radcliffe. Despite these objections, Brennan showed a preference for narrative consistency over analytical soundness, the CIA memo said. National Public Radio, they're in there. And the New York Times also covered the Gabbard documents critically, both joining NBC and the Washington Post in bearing a key detail from a revelation. So they're all dismissing this report without mentioning the declassified details that basically prove her, make her point. Gabbard's documents show Obama canceled a December 9, 2016 presidential daily briefing, which then President Donald Trump would have seen. Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, previously told journalist Matt Taibbi that Flynn would have seen the PBD if published. Trump had previously received a PBD in November 2016, according to CNN. So there you go. All right. I'm dragging here. All right. Let's do lightning round, by the way. Can we just FTG everyone you can think of that was named in that article? John Brennan, James Clapper, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton. Did I miss anybody? Thinking. Anyway, FTG to all of those fuckers. All right. Now, back to more unrelated stuff. Apparently, ChatGPT, have you used ChatGPT to find out about things, people, and places? Apparently, ChatGPT basically it feeds its information or gets fed information from none other than Wikipedia. So be careful what you ask for. If you're using ChatGPT, and how I complain already a lot of times that Grok, the AI from made by Twitter, even the standalone, tends to compile information it got from Twitter a lot. And so you got to be careful what questions you ask. And a lot of the left-leaning asswipes on X have figured that out, and so they'll ask questions in a way that will get an answer that basically gets your confirmation bias. So you just got to be careful when you use AI, because the headline here is AI is eating leftist garbage from Wikipedia, and you consume what comes out. So that's just that's the alarm for the one alarm fire. In Breitbart, remember the Minnesota state senator who got caught breaking into, I think, her mother-in-law's house or some shit like that, or she broke in the house? Well, she's finally vacating her seat. What's her name again? A Minnesota state senator and former TV meteorologist has announced she will be resigning after a jury convicted her of breaking into her stepmother's home of felony burglary. The jury took only 3 hours on Friday to find Nicole Mitchell, 51, guilty, while also finding her guilty of a second felony, the possession of burglary tools. The senator represents the suburbs of east of St. Paul and is a member of the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party, which is basically what they call the Democratic Party in Minnesota. Mitchell's professional background prior to her 2022 election seems entirely at odds with being a convicted felon. According to her extensive Wikipedia page, she served in the Air Force Reserve as a lieutenant colonel and in the Air National Guard commanding a weather flight. She later worked as a news media meteorologist for several outlets, eventually landing in 2017 at KSTP, which is Channel 5 here in the Twin Cities, in the Minneapolis-St. Paul media market. Oh, it's her? I remember her. Oh, my God. She was the weather chick. Anyway, so she remember she got caught breaking into her mother's house, and it was a big hullabaloo about that. So anyway, she's no longer state senator, and she got convicted. Good for her. I think her sentencing's coming soon. Anyway, oh, and also the trending, because apparently this is one of those Grok produced things. Trump named in the Epstein files as judge rejects disclosure. Now this is interesting, the way this is phrased, and it's because that's the way some of the lefties phrase it on X. The Justice Department informed President Donald Trump in May that his name is among many listed in the Jeffrey Epstein files. Now, to that, I say, duh. The idea that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files, other than that his name's in there, tells me nothing. I mean, if you think about it, Donald Trump's name was brought up 17 times in some of the, I guess, in the depositions or something. It brought up 17 times, but all in reference to people testifying being asked Donald Trump's role, to which every time they said none. So yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people, and look, by the way, and again, I am not ever going to give Donald Trump a pass on this if he did some shit. You know what I'm saying? If he did, fuck him too. Okay? I don't care, whoever. It doesn't matter if they're Democrats, Republicans, my favorite movie star, a musician I respect. I do not care. The ones who were clients, who were on, maybe got themselves videotaped when they didn't want to be, people on all those records that they took from the island and from his apartment and from New Mexico. I want, again, perp walks is too good for them. So Trump's role was as a nun. I don't know, maybe. So anyway, but that's the big news that everyone's posted now. Oh my God, Trump was named in the Epstein files in May. Well, what does that even mean? Named how? So anyway, but here's now this is interesting though. Now, this judge that blocked the release of the transcripts, remember Pam Bondi, who's going to the Manhattan district, he's going down to Florida on the first case, and also Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, asking for the release of the transcripts of all these trials, right? What did I say was going to happen with that? And the fact that they're saying, okay, because they said they're going to release the files, but remember I said, well, no, they're going to go to these, try to get the grand jury transcripts released, and they will be blocked by a judge because you're not supposed to release grand jury testimony. Oh, look at this. Obama judge blocks the release of the Epstein transcripts. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Oh, wow. Oh, a shocker. These are the grand jury materials from the Epstein case, and the release would probably be underwhelming, but it's still telling that in the midst of Democrats suddenly pretending to be very interested in the release of the Epstein files, one of their judges went ahead and blocked the move. This is an Obama-appointed judge. Judge Robin Rosenberg is an Obama judge, but not just any judge. Sure, she came out of the DOJ Civil Rights Division, which means she was a leftist activist, but she also worked for West Palm Beach, and her husband was a state attorney for Palm Beach County. And considering that a big part of whatever went down with Epstein's original arrest came down to broad abuses of power by those in power to protect Epstein. That's exactly the kind of judge who shouldn't have been anywhere near the case. Oh, how did that happen? But Democrats have their playbook, exploit the division in MAGA, scream about wanting the Epstein files, then block even the release of the grand jury materials. The game is pretty clear. So is the culpability. Democrats protected Epstein from the beginning, and then they burned him when they needed to go after Donald Trump. Now they're doing it again. So that's interesting. Yeah, so by the way, FTG, Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and I don't know why this judge blocked us. I won't say that. Well, I know why, because you can't. Grand jury testimony is highly protected. Even if the man's dead, it's still, for the victims, for anyone involved, it's highly protected because it's not a complete trial either. Epstein didn't deal in little boys as far as I know, so I doubt Obama himself is on it. No, apparently that's not true either. There were some young men, and again, everyone uses the word pedophile. It's more like pederast. They're all, I think the youngest, 13's, I'd say pedophile, but whatever. All right. It doesn't make it any better if you're trafficking underage people for sexual proclivities, period. That's fucked up. Now, I'm kind of curious about this article by Christopher Rufo on this too, because I saw this and I'm like, what? What? He says Epstein conspiracy theories obscure the obvious truth. He was nothing more than a high society snake. Oh, well, that's spot on. What am I whatting about? There you go. Yes, he was. A myth is a story that expresses the collective dream world of the culture, its fears, its wishes, its self-conception. Some myths refine themselves over generations. Others spring into consciousness in an instant. A bit of a story or news captures the imagination so thoroughly that the entire culture suddenly projects its hope and terror onto a single hero, or more often, a villain. Jeffrey Epstein is one of those myths. Now, he's not saying what Jeffrey Epstein did was a myth. Let's just hang on here. Since his arrest and jailhouse death, the disgraced financier, socialite, and pedophile has become America's most famous villain, an archetype who offers virtually all factions something to hate and someone to point fingers at. Someone this morning, as I scroll through videos now and then, made the observation that how both parties or people on both the right and the left are, posting pictures of Jeffrey Epstein with their favorite villains, either Donald Trump or Bill Clinton or whatever, other people, right? And they made the point that, what do y'all accomplish like that? I don't give a fuck. It's either side. Whoever was with Jeffrey Epstein and whoever violated minors in the way that you can imagine could go fuck themselves and go to jail. I don't care who goes to jail. So, it's one of those things. This isn't about the right and the left. It's about right and wrong. Yeah, that just came out. I don't know. Anyway, Rufo continues. To some, he represents hidden sexual depravity of the elites. To others, global conspiracy established through blackmail, espionage, and intrigue. And to still others, he is a weapon. He is a weapon to be wielded against his one-time friend, President Trump. That's all the left cares about. That is a weapon against Trump. They don't care who they take down in their own party if they can get Trump. Epstein embodies the Omni conspiracy. To some critics, his connection to the world's most powerful people suggests membership in a cabal that runs elite institutions. And his houses, airplanes, and islands, paired with the uncertain provenance of his wealth, all stand as proof that he profited from his corruption. The game, then, is to assign the blame and establish the meaning of his crimes. Epstein has captured the public mind, and the question is whether he will be cast as the Marquis de Sade or Charles Ponzi. A number of theories circulate that Epstein was an intelligent asset who orchestrated sexual blackmail against the super elite, that Epstein was a Rasputin figure who seduced the rich out of their fortunes, that he had enough compromise on world leaders that he had to be secretly murdered in his prison cell. There is enough documentary evidence to raise questions. The suspicion, at least the snapshots of Bill Clinton getting a massage in a private airport hangar, the bizarre contracts and transactions between Epstein and billionaire Lex Wexner, the seeming disappearance of tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. In each case, Epstein seems to transgress America's most deeply maintained taboos. He is a pedophile who abused scores of young girls. He is a criminal who defrauded others of billions. He is a serpent who twisted his way into high society through manipulation and deceit. He represents a complete repudiation of the virtues of the American Puritan culture, modesty, honesty, humility, and symbolizes all that is rotten with American elite in a period of decadence and anxiety. Thus, the intense public reaction. Epstein allows us to project our hatreds and fears onto a single man. His biography contains sufficient mystery to allow us to fill in the blanks with our great obsessions. Some or all of the conspiracy theories might be true, but the facts will never be enough. On one side, it appears that many powerful people have a vested interest in burying Epstein's secret. On the other, the public has grown so distrustful of officialdom that no report or accounting will ever be transparent enough. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I watched the Epstein case percolate through right-wing and left-wing media for years without forming strong judgments. This is Rufo speaking. My sense is that the most elaborate fantasies that Epstein was part of a cabal of pedophile cannibals or that he was running world governments on behalf of Mossad are a deflection from the moral banal, but perhaps even more disturbing reality. Jeffrey Epstein was not a cannibal or a foreign subversive, but a depraved twist on an all-American archetype, that Jay Gatsby character. Like Gatsby, Epstein was a Aravisti. What the hell? Aravisti? Someone will tell me what that means. Who sought to dissociate himself from his humble origins, gained wealth through fraud and artifice, and showered money onto others in the hopes of being accepted in high society. He amassed astounding wealth and cultivated an elite network, but the money, the party, the islands, the brokerage accounts, the snapshots were with the rich were all empty symbols, bribes that temporarily masked the horror of a badly lived life. When it all came crashing down, no one attended Epstein's funeral, as no one attended Gatsby's. We should work to uncover all the facts, but we do not need an omni conspiracy or an elaborate espionage plot to identify the deepest lessons of the Epstein myth. Our elites are easily seduced by material wealth and, at minimum, willing to turn a blind eye to a man who suffers or surrounds himself with teenage girls. but even America's wealthiest and most powerful could not resist a private plane or a few nights in the Virgin Islands. Epstein was a monster, but people who helped him maintain his status were guilty of a very American style of nihilism. Epstein was just the dead man's switch who, when his life blew up, sprayed the others with shrapnel or in shrapnel. So there you go. That's a pretty good, well-written article by Rufo. And again, I don't care who gets the worst of the worst should happen to all of them who played along with Jeffrey Epstein. All right, a few more articles, but I'm not going to get to all of them. Okay, that's on the plane crash. I'll move that next to the, where is that? I'll move that article next to the links to the plane crash. There we go. Oh, and then also in the oh, wait, what? Oh, did you hear about this? French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte are suing Candace Owens for defamation. Cannon, what's up, Cannon? Now, I saw this for the first time this morning, and they probably have a case depending on where they sue her, because Candace Owens been calling Macron's wife a man for months now. Hello, like the boy. Yeah, boy. And Black Hebrew Israelite making an appearance. Right. Nice to have you. She's been calling his wife a man for the long time. And so now they're going to sue her for defamation from the lawsuit. In March 2024, Candace Owens, a right-wing podcaster. Now, I wish they wouldn't call her that. I don't know what she is. Anyway, told the world she would stake her entire professional reputation on the fact that Brigitte Macron, the First Lady of France, is in fact a man. Since then, Owens has used this false statement to promote her independent platform, gain notoriety, and make money. Owens disregarded all her credible evidence, disproving her claim in favor of platforming known conspiracy theorists and proven defamers. Rather than engage with President and Mrs. Macron, attempts to set the record straight, Owens mocked them and used them as additional fodder for her frenzied fan base. Owens did not stop there, retaliating against the Macrons for the audacity of sending her a retraction demand. Owens helmed an 8-part podcast series entitled Becoming Bridget. The series had accompanying expos. My God, the Candace, you should have just shut the fuck up. I didn't realize she did an 8-part series on this. Holy shit. With what evidence? Hello, Evan, what's up? How can it be defamatory? Well, that's there is that element of a question. Okay, wait a minute. How can it be defamatory? Is it not okay to be trans? But I was just saying. So anyway, an 8-part series. Oh my God. Throughout the series, Owens and her entities, Candace Owens LLC and Georgetown Inc., endorsed, repeated, and published a series of verifiably false and devastating lies about the Macrons on which this complaint is based. These outlandish, defamatory, and far-fetched fictions included that Ms. Macron was born a man, stole another person's identity, and transitioned to become Brigitte. Ms. Macron and President Macron are Ms. Macron and President Macron are blood relatives committing incest. Oh, she said that's right, because she was claiming it might be his father who transitioned. What the fuck? And President Macron was chosen to be president of France as part of a CIA-operated MK Ultra program or similar mind control program, and Ms. Macron and President Macron are committing forgery, fraud, and abuses of power to conceal these secrets. So, holy shit! Hello, Midnight Exile. remember, public figures have a higher standard to prove defamation. They have to prove actual malice. So that's the tough part. But this says the Macrons have a case against Owens. These claims are demonstrably false, and Owens knew they were false when she published them. The Macrons claimed in a lawsuit, yet she published them anyway. And then he says, is this William Jacobson, I'm guessing, that wrote this? No, Mary Chastain. She says, I agree for these reasons. For reasons set forth in detail above, defendant made this defamatory statements with actual malice, including with actual subjective awareness that their falsity, as evidenced by the facts that defendants, 1, made statements despite having actual knowledge that they were false, or despite having actual knowledge they were false, including based on evidence that in their possession and available to them that they actually reviewed. To B, it was A, this is B, relied on sources who were obviously biased against President and Mrs. Macron, whom the defendants knew would be biased against President and Mrs. Macron. C, made statements as part of a preconceived narrative that President and Mrs. Macron have been lying, or have lied to the public about Mrs. Macron's identity, perpetrating abuses of power, and engaged in physical violence toward individuals investigating them. And D, deliberately ignored voluminous evidence in their possession and available to them as described in detail above that contradicted the preconceived narratives they wanted to tell about President and Mrs. Macron. So, she's oh, you brought up Macron's right before Candace did. I doubt if she's a man. She might be a little homely. Anyway, right. Let's see. Also, Gavin Newsom's in trouble with liberals, apparently, because he was doing something sane for a change. Governor Gavin Newsom has made a feeble effort to distance himself from the worst excesses of the left, has cast him out of the good graces of certain Californians. Guess who? Guess who? I bet you can't guess. I bet you can. The New York Times claims many families of transgender minors in California are angry with the Trump administration, but also with Gavin Newsom. Families and trans advocates say they feel betrayed by Newsom as well as by healthcare administrators who say they have capitulated to an administration intent on turning transgender children into scapegoats. By the way, there's no such thing as a transgender child. Sorry. These are just kids who've been manipulated and by the current trends, and a vast majority of them would just be fine if you left them alone. 2 prominent California medical centers which provided so-called gender-affirming treatments for children were recently shuttered. So basically, they're going to stop doing medical gender-affirming care for children because, like many countries, we're starting to figure out that this is the new lobotomy, and maybe they should stop that shit. So good for them, and sorry that Gavin Newsom, out of the good graces of some Democrats, like he gives a fuck. He's still their best chance in 2028. And here it is: healthcare providers stop to trans surgeries on kids. All right, now the only other thing in here that I don't have time for it, unfortunately, but I want you to check out the story of Sandy Peggy over on the other side of the pond. Sandy Peggy was a woman who was in nursing school, and was she in nursing school? I think she was or a nurse in the National Health Service, and got caught up in the old pronoun thing, and not just the pronoun thing, but also because in a changing room where she was changing at work or whatever, a male, a transgender identifying person, was in the change room, and she wanted to have some privacy, and it became a big deal. The NHS was getting her fired or whatnot, or took her into a tribunal. Like they were basically gonna put her on trial because she didn't want to be changing in front of a dude with a dick. Okay, so anyway, the nurse bravely stood up to NHS Fife and Dr. Beth Upton, the male transgender identifying colleague she was expected to undress in front of at work. And she has a new fight ahead. This week, she began legal proceedings against her trade union, the Royal College of Nursing, for refusing to protect her dignity and safety in the workplace. In other words, failing to do its most important job. So let's see. As we know now, the managers of Victoria Hospital in Kirkcaldy, rather than defending Peggy's right to a single-sex space, accused her of bullying Upton. The basis for this claim rested on Peggy's refusal on Christmas Eve of 2023 to take care of her period in the women's changing area in front of him. Disregarding Peggy's 30 years of unblemished service, and NHS Fife suspended her from her post. Last week, an 18-month internal investigation cleared her of the accusations. She is still battling NHS and Upton in a separate employment tribunal in which she accuses them of sexual harassment and belief discrimination. So apparently in that tribunal, she's been cleared of all misconduct and continues, or despite saying Peggy being cleared of all misconduct, this Dr. Kate Searle continues her spiteful prosecution of Sandy and still believes Sandy committed a hate crime because she didn't want to get naked in front of a dude. So, but anyway, the good news is that the tribunal held her in no violation. Basically, they let her be, probably because of the thing that happened in Scotland. Who knows? But that, folks, story, if you want to read those stories, they're in the links today, which I'm about to drop into the chat. And that's it. Oh my gosh, it's Thursday. That means tomorrow's Friday. And we'll have we'll have some fun tomorrow. We'll try to. I am going to start a new thing that you'll just have to wait and see. Come on, where's this thing so slow? And hopefully, just pay attention. If you see short videos of mine pop up, just check them out, please. That's all I ask. And share them. Share them with other people. Hopefully, I'll have a new countdown and outro next week too, because I've been pretty lax on that. But that's it. Here come the links, and where's it? Oh, there it is. Here we go. So here's today's links in the chat. Oops. There you go. And that's it. I gotta go. Y'all have a lovely Thursday. I gotta go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.